The video is horrifying.
Hands on the car, I'll tase you. Stay back.
The prey narrowly escaping her predator. This is a story of survival, and it belongs to Mary Teske. It's a sleeping with the enemy nightmare that started like a puppy love dream.
He was my first boyfriend, and he was so sweet and wonderful. Kane and I met when we were 13 or 14 years old, and we weren't supposed to be dating, and I started secretly seeing him.
Like a modern-day Romeo and Juliet, for Mary Teske and Kane Reeves, it was an us against the world feeling. And over time, the happy couple grew to a family of 5. But Mary says despite what appeared to be 9 years of bliss, it was a year into their relationship when the Kane she fell in love with started showing a very different private side.
It started with the verbal, and then I believe the first actual physical incident was when I was pregnant and he shoved me out of frustration and apologized to me immensely and was hugging me and crying, and he didn't mean to push me that hard, and he would never do anything like that.
Forgiving Kane in the beginning was easy,
because he made me believe it was a one-time incident and it wasn't going to happen again.
but it would happen again, and it was escalating, his rage spilling out from behind closed doors.
There were so many different incidences. One of the times he ended up slitting all 4 of my car tires, broke out my windshield, was stalking me all over to my workplace, to my parents, my home.
Mary says a monster
He became violent,
had emerged.
threatening to burn down my home, to kidnap my children, to kill me, to kill himself. He hadn't physically beaten me up, but he had done other things, shoving me, putting his hand up to my throat to intimidate me while he screamed in my face. Definitely scary intimidation.
Mary says she'd call the police, then never follow through.
I recanted my statements multiple times, or if he was charged, I didn't press it as hard as it needed to be because I was trying to forgive him and hoped he would get help.
But he wasn't changing. So Mary got a restraining order. Not that Kane cared.
He said, "That's just a piece of paper, it's not gonna do anything."
Mary says she tried leaving Kane many times, but there were always serious consequences for that. Each attempt would bring escalating violence.
I was very fear-driven, so I stayed with him and thought maybe I could just put up with it. I mean, I did love him, I did want to help him and change him. I wanted to be a family, I didn't want to break our family apart. But it was more fear than anything was the reason I stayed.
Then, after years of emotional, psychological, and physical terror, Mary says she finally got the courage to make a break away from Kane. Forever. But first, she needed to go back to the house to pick up a few belongings. Should be safe. Kane is supposed to be out of town.
I get out of my vehicle, and I have my 2 daughters. I open the door. Immediately, I'm just thrown to the ground, smashing my face in. The children are thrown and flung from my arms.
Kane had broken in and was there lying in wait with revenge on his mind.
I remember going in and out of consciousness. I was able to push him off me and grab the girls and run outside. He grabbed the keys from me and threw me back to the ground, continued to beat my face in and smash my head into the ground and was choking me.
It was fight or flight.
Somehow I mustered up the strength to throw him off me and ran screaming into the middle of the road covered in blood, arms wailing, waving for a passerby, a vehicle I saw coming, to stop their car. They pulled over, they didn't get out of the car.
Then, like a terrifying scene from a horror film.
He grabbed me by the hair and dragged me all the way back inside.
Coming up.
He was smashing my face. I could hear the crunching of the bones.
Then, a last desperate chance to escape caught on dash cam video.
You're all bloody.
It was extremely intimidating and scary, but I knew it had to tell the truth of what he did to me.